Mediocre Disc Golf Podcast, an average podcast for the average disc golfer. As always, I'm Evan Amstutz, joined by Kim Hatcher. We're happy you could join us. Kim, how are you doing today?
Doing good. This was my last day before I leave for Throwdown tomorrow. Really pumped. Last weekend of Throwdown for a bit until it becomes a permanent course, which is
Yeah,
extremely exciting and puts a lot less pressure on me to get my butt out there. So, um, it was good. It was good. Today was filled with a lot of prep, a lot of mental prep,
yeah.
a lot of mental prep today. But overall, of course, I'm always pumped to be here. So.
Yeah, it's awesome that Paul McBeth, for those who haven't heard the news, I don't know how you haven't, Paul McBeth and pitcher for the Chicago White Sox, Dylan Cease, have purchased the Throwdown the Mountain property, the Grand Canyon. They're going to rename it, put in permanent tee pads, put in permanent baskets. Paul was on the Nick and Matt show, and they asked him, like, how does this course rank? And he put it in the same sentence as Maple Hill. He said Maple Hill is his favorite. But
Really?
yeah, but he said would be in the conversation, except he has a hard time putting it in the same mix since it's not a permanent course, which I can understand. It's an epic course, definitely would be in the top 100 based on some of the other courses in the top 100 I've played. It's super awesome that they're saving the course. For those who hadn't heard, the property was going to be sold, and is kind of a last ditch effort to get it purchased and save that property for disc golf. I'm very excited to see what they do with that property going forward and all the little things that they can do to make that an incredible course. And you get to experience that course this week, like you said, with pro.
Yeah, I was thinking about how they're going to do it logistically. I mean, when you go out to Throwdown, you sign a waiver. So I've been trying to think of how logistically they're going to do it because they got to make it a paid course. And honestly, I
Mhm.
pay. I'm in every time.
Yeah, they talked
But
about doing lifetime memberships and yearly memberships and all that
oh
sort of
yeah.
stuff.
Oh, I like that.
Lifetime membership I might do depending on the price, but the way they were talking about it, they were looking at it as a way to recoup capital. So I don't know
I
how.
don't even know what that means. First of all, you said a word that I don't know, and then you said another word that I do know, but I don't. You put it together.
Uh,
Recoup capital. Hmm.
they just want to get a direct injection of cash,
Oh, heck yeah. Why can't you just say that?
because I'm trying to sound smarter than I am.
Oh, okay. So that makes sense. They got to make it a paid course, but also,
Yeah. Oh yeah,
like
they're going to.
they need someone who work in that course, who people who can sign, people who can collect the waivers, people who can collect cash. Like they got to be a little careful. I mean, they could go cashless the way the world is right now. They could do Venmo, PayPal, all of those different things only, but
Yeah, I think because the
exciting.
property at the moment is not owned by Disc Golf Thing, and like if it's operated as a disc golf business, I believe the way the liability works is the liability is then on the business, whereas right now you're signing away the property owner's liability if anything were to happen while you're on the property. So that's, I believe, the difference. So you wouldn't have to sign. I'm going to guess that you wouldn't be signing a waiver every time you go like you
Yeah,
do right
maybe
now.
kind of like
Just
rock
like,
climbing. If you go rock climbing, you sign a waiver once and you never have to do it again.
or like any like ball golf course, paid
Yeah.
courses, New World, like by purchasing the service, you're essentially like the business itself is taking
Yeah.
on the liability as well. Like there's all sorts of
What timeline did they
legal.
give? Did they say August that they're going to try to get it up and running?
Fall is when they're hoping to have it open to the public.
I like it. Keep it
So
generic. Fall.
yeah, we'll hopefully have some more information later on
Mm-hmm.
this year, and we will keep you guys updated because it is a big deal for this area.
Yeah. 100%. The course is so cool. I mean, when you think Florida, in my brain, I think low ceiling, flat, not a lot of elevation changes. maybe a lot of water because they like to like they see water, they like, let's throw over it. But it's so nice to have a course that just changes everything because that course is wild. And I'm excited to play it, let me tell you, but it is wild. It's a ride.
Yeah, with Josh having played that course with me a couple weeks ago, where did you do anything different in your mental prep for the course, just knowing how challenging it is, or are you just kind of approaching it the same way?
Um, Approaching it a different way and approaching it the same way. I played the course 2 years ago,
Hmm.
and that's when I was still throwing like Blizzard destroyers. So a lot has changed. But it is a lot of the holes are the same, and a lot of the holes I remember Josh pointing them out to me, and I was like, oh, okay. And those are the holes that I'm going to be playing this weekend. But watching how Josh did and how the scores were, I just gonna go in not knowing that almost. I want to go in with a fresh mindset. We're gonna go practice it tomorrow. I'm gonna have a wonderful time. I'm gonna have a great time. Disc golf is fun. I love disc golf. And then kind of go from there. I don't want to assume anything because it's always different conditions. Every day is a new day. So I
Yeah,
don't want to go out there assuming what Josh played is how I'm gonna play. I mean, I thought it rained on you guys a little bit and
a
it was
little bit.
cold
Yeah,
or it was
yeah,
freezing. It's supposed to be sunny all weekend. So knock on wood.
yeah.
It'll be interesting to see. But I'm excited because couple of the pros are coming down. Ellen's gonna be playing. Natalie Ryan's gonna be playing, which I'm excited about.
Hmm.
Jordan and Morgan Linds are going to be out there, which are great people. And a couple of others. I can't remember the names right now, but we were going to have more. Deanne Carey was signed up at one point, and Hannah Macbeth were signed up, but they had dropped. But I'm really
Okay.
stoked. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Just fair warning, you can lose some discs out there. The sawgrass is pretty gnarly, but if you do lose a disc, I know a good place where you can go
You know
get some.
someone? You know a guy?
No guy.
Like
Know a
a
couple of
dealer?
guys that
Oh,
run a little place called the Disc Shop, who is sponsoring this episode as they always do. And if you want the new, let me pull this up because it's quite the name. The new Color Glow Flex 3 D line rainmakers.
it's a
When this
mouthful.
episode comes out, they will have those in stock. So if you want specifically that kind of rainmaker, go over to the
It's
disc shop.
coming. It's coming.
If you want specifically that kind of rainmaker for 10% off, user code MDG pod, you get 10% off. You
It's on
can
sale.
It's on sale if you're a listener. And if you tell them that you're a listener, or if you go online and use the code MDG pod.
I love it's
Oh.
on sale. Feels like it's free.
So speaking of the Lynn sisters, I always get them confused because I don't follow them terribly closely, but I follow both of them on Instagram. I saw one of them won the Tallahassee Open,
Morgan, yeah, Morgan won
and
it. Morgan
then
is the forehand dominant
yeah,
athlete.
and then Jordan came in second, and that tends to be what happens when they plays. One of them
One
wins,
and two.
and the other one comes in second.
Yeah, and they're funny. If you look at the comments, they make some comments to each other in there, and
Hmm.
it's really funny. They're great people. They're super competitive, but you get on the course and they're just nice people, and that's
Hmm.
all I could ever ask from disc golfers. So I'm super
Yeah,
pumped. They're going to start playing some more silver series in the future, which is going to be exciting to see. Morgan's rated like almost 930, which is freaking awesome.
yeah.
Um, Speaking of Silver Series, did you watch the Silver Series this weekend?
I don't know about a silver series. I watched Calvin Heimberg play disc golf, and there are other people playing disc golf around him, but he played specifically a lot better than everybody else around him. And
Yep.
then Sai Ananda.
Oh my goodness. I makes me so happy. First of all, I love to see Calvin win. Calvin, such a funny guy, such a good guy. I wanted to see him win some more. I think this is a good year for him.
Did you
He
see
was
his
in
Instagram post before the final round?
I saw something about Sid the Sloth.
Yeah, he's like, yes, we are cousins. Like the
We
man's
do this
preparing to
every
win.
year. That's my favorite.
Guy, the guy's going to play for, I think he ended up winning like $4,000, and he's dropping memes on Instagram a couple hours before.
Yeah, 4 grand.
He's won like $16,000 this year.
That's lit. That's
And
lit.
then all of the FPO side with Psy winning, West Side came out with an incredible
I
logo.
saw that. That
The
looked
Wu-Tang
cool.
West Side. Oh, it love a
Way to
good
use
meme.
it. Great
Yes.
job.
Especially a meme that comes out of a manufacturer, like they lean into it. That was
Mhm.
awesome. She seems like a really fun person.
Mm.
Just very
Yeah.
bubbly, excited.
Like almost like another own.
Hmm.
Like super pumped to be out there. I when I look at scores for females, I always scroll to the way bottom. I don't know why. I like to see what top name didn't do so well. I don't know why I do it, but I've been seeing size name a lot because I work from the bottom and go back to the top because usually you know who's at the top. And I've been seeing her name. She's rated 950.
Hmm.
And I had thought recently, I was like, okay, why haven't I seen this name more often? Like she is 950 rated. She should be powerhouse in it. And the fact that she came out swinging, and she came out swinging hot. She like had a 66 hole bogey free streak or something. Like
Something crazy, yeah.
she has held multiple bogey free streaks and came out and just had a great time. And let's see, she was in the lead round two,
Hmm.
round three. She held it the whole time. I
She
was
had a like
watching.
43% circle two, like
Yes,
something insane.
dude, I love disc golf.
Yeah, it was awesome. And Kristen kind of snuck back in there towards the
Yep,
end. I
she had a
got
rough
worried.
first round. Her first round was
Yeah,
rough.
I got worried that it was going to kind of be like Waco, where the
Mm,
leader kind of falls
mm-hmm.
apart and Kristen
Sai in
swoops
her
in.
interview, I don't remember the name. She was interviewing with somebody and they are asking her, like, did you feel that? And she said that she acted like every hole Kristen was on her. Every
Yeah,
single hole. Because she's not the type of person who can look at the score and perform. I feel that. I understand that. I'd like to
yeah,
think I'm a person who can look at the score and still go, but she said that every hole, even hole 18, it was like a 25 footer. It wasn't an easy putt for birdie, and she made sure she putted that, even though she was 3 strokes in the lead and could have just laid up. She was like, no, 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 I couldn't let give Kristen any slack because I
yeah,
don't I don't want to push it to a playoff. Because we push it to the playoff, I don't know what's going to happen to me. That's freaking awesome.
yeah. And I mean, it was great to see someone take down one of the giants in the FPO side
Yeah.
and just be so genuinely
Oh,
happy the whole time. Like always had a smile on her face no matter what was happening. It-
their card looked like a blast. I was watching
Mhm,
some coverage and Holland was commentating. She
mhm.
said that the card was having a great time. Like not a ton of chit chat, but they were like talking about stuff. And usually like a lead card apparently is very like stoic, I guess you could say, very serious,
Business.
stoic business. But they said that their card would like they would make some comments and people would giggle. Like it was very relaxed. It was like almost they were remembering to enjoy the game, which they shot really good rounds. So
Yeah. And I mean, that was awesome. This is not like an FPO centric show, but that shows how dominant Calvin was. Like we're just like, yeah,
oh,
Calvin
there's
won.
nothing to talk about over there. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
look. Let me look. AB, love it. I love to see AB shine
Yeah.
out there. Um, Joel Freeman looks like he did pretty well as well, tied for second. I love to see a good like a not a what's a good word? He's not like a Calvin Heimberg,
It's not.
Paul Macbeth, but
He's
it's nice to see those people up
mhm.
higher on the list. And then Ezwa, I love to see Ezwa.
Who is on the wait list at Champions Cup. That's
Oh,
something
he
that we
is.
will
That's
not get into because it's not what we're about. There's other podcasts that cover it in depth.
yeah.
But it's just go take a look at the wait list for Champions Cup if you haven't. It's kind of funny.
Brody did pretty good too. I mean, tied for
Hmm.
10th. I love to see Brody shining a little bit. He's been putting the work in for sure.
Yeah.
So, but
It was a
like I
good
said, it's more interesting on the FPO side. Sorry.
Yeah, it was a good silver event overall, like a
Yeah.
relatively strong field for silver. I definitely just based on the courses think that the Open at Austin should have been a silver and this should have been an elite.
Yeah.
I was joking that the Open at Austin, at least in that first round, was the parking lot open because they were throwing from a parking lot. Like it's Texas.
I
It just
agree.
wasn't a pretty course.
I agree. I agree. I agree. I
Wasn't
agree.
wasn't the most exciting course to watch either. Whereas this Texas State one had elevation, it had low, like
Hills
it was
and yeah.
awesome.
Uh, I was listening to the commentary. I was listening to the live, and they mentioned something about how this reminds them of New World in Jacksonville. And honestly, I see it. They showed a little drone coverage, and I was like, that does look like blue white course. I see it. I see it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I could see that with some of the more technical lines at New World. When I heard that, I was kind of like, ah, there's not too many like just bomb a hyzer, see what happens, just bomb a hyzer, see what happens. Like
yeah,
there can be at New World, but it was an exciting weekend. Also, uh, Matteo dominated the Tallahassee Open, which
love him.
yeah,
Love him.
love his the lobster shirt. That's like one of my favorites.
That's funny.
But yeah, it was an exciting pro weekend just in
Definitely.
general, and I'm
Overall,
excited for the coverage for pro weekend at Throwdown.
I am pumped. It's gonna be excited. I think Terry Miller's coming out, something
He's
like
there
that.
every year, so
He's there.
he's I imagine he'd be there.
Yep.
So if you see him out there, Kim, say hello. He's a super nice guy.
I'll give him a hello. I love the Ace Run Pro guys. I see those guys out in South Florida Open when I help them
Mhm.
do some commentary. They're so
Yeah,
nice.
they're super nice as well. It's almost like disc golf's a great sport, great community.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, do you want to get into the fan favorite segment?
Yes. Do
So
it.
we're gonna move into Hoffy's Heaters, brought to you by
Woo!
Spikeheiser Dies. This is where our social media manager, Matt Hoffman, gives his hot takes on things no one else is talking about. It's probably for a good reason.
Probably.
And I didn't talk about this last time, but we're giving him 90 seconds and he gets cut off.
Yeah, we're just cut him off. I love it. All right. I'm in
If he wanted to hear
for
more
this
from
run.
him, he would be on the show. So,
Yeah, we don't need that much.
yeah. All right, here, let's see what he has to say.
This week's Hoffy's Heater is something that I've been noticing as we're getting more into tournament season. And I know my place. I know exactly where I'm at within my disc golf level. I'm an 840 rated player. I swing the ceiling between MA4 and MA3 depending on the level of that I'm playing in. I'm now predominantly playing in MA3 tournaments. Now that being said, my ass does not belong in an MPO or an MA1 style tournament without the fact that I know that I could ruin a ton of players who are well above my ratings day, their tournament experience, and honestly, their overall feeling of wanting to come back to that tournament. So my heater this week is talking about creating a floor basement. We already have a floor seating with like 850 getting you out of MA4, 900 getting you out of MA3, and so on and so forth. But I think the PDGA really needs to possibly start thinking about a rating floor that allows us to say, yeah, you're 835. We're not going to let you play an MA1 only tournament because you may be feeling like an MA1 player, but there's a possibility that you go out there and have the worst round of your life and you are the worst player on that card and you're going to be struggling to keep up with the pace of play that is supposed to be seen in an MA1 player. My MA3 ass is not supposed to be playing with MPO players. I will get there eventually, but until the PDGA fix.
All right. That was interesting. What do you think, Kim?
I agree.
So to play devil's advocate here, because I
Please.
do agree with him. The only issue I can see with that is in smaller, not as disc golf healthy areas where some of the better players are going to be like the 900
Mm-hmm.
rated
Mm-hmm.
just because of the size of the community. So maybe it's hard to make this an exciting heater because I really do agree with him. Maybe you
I
do that
agree.
for like 8 years.
Let's talk about why we don't agree. I love the idea that even if you are not lowly rated, you can play with people that are above you.
Yeah. I genuinely think it depends on the event. At Throwdown, this is gonna
You
sound really
got it. You can't
cocky.
keep up.
Yeah, don't stick me with don't have me play with Matt Hoffman. Love you, dude, but like that's not gonna be it's gonna be distracting for me trying to play well at this A tier event. If it's a C tier, I couldn't particularly care any less, just because it's a C tier. Generally, those are flex starts or fun, really local tournaments that it's about the community. Whereas once you get into those A tiers, even some like really high level B tiers, it's a little bit more of like, disc golf's fun, but we're kind of here to win.
Yeah, like
At least at the
almost like it
MA1
needs to be
level.
like an A tier, maybe even B tier, maybe A tier at least. Maybe they test it out in A tiers, like
Because they do
because
that at in like elite events and our disc golf pro tour events, where you have to be a certain rating to even be able to enter, and you're one of the last people to
yeah,
be able
true.
to enter. And I have run into that. Like I've been on the wait list on a couple of events where I'm
Yeah.
on the wait list in MA1 and there's some dude who's like 830 rated. Like, come on, man. Like I'm going there trying to win
Yeah.
an A tier. I missed sign up by 2 minutes and I'm on the wait list. Maybe it's a privileged thing being an MA1 and all that sort of stuff, but I have seen it. I think it's a pace of play thing as well. Yeah, as we kind of talked about with Sarah, if you're not at a certain level for the course, it's not going to be fun. Like if your
Yeah.
level of play doesn't match the difficulty of the course, you're going to have a miserable time.
Yeah.
And people playing with you, if you're not playing well, are going to have a miserable time. Like it is one thing to like say you're on lead card with someone and one of your competitors that you're trying to beat is struggling, then you're like, hell yeah, like I'm here to beat this guy. But say you're round one and you get stuck with the lowest guy in the field,
Mm-hmm.
and that person's just like you can tell that they're doing their best,
Yeah.
and there's 10, 11, 12 strokes behind like the rest of the card. That's where
Yeah.
it starts getting, and I'm trying to be careful here because disc golf is a very community oriented sport. I just
Yeah,
think
it is,
at a
but
certain
like,
level.
yeah, a level. That's all I'm saying. C tiers, do what makes you happy, live your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Shia LaBeouf, just do it.
Right.
But
Even some B tiers like
yeah, B tiers are iffy because
Lighthouse Open here and the Bullet Bash here,
those are C tiers.
are they C tiers? I thought they were
Yes.
B.
Honey,
Okay.
they're 1 day tournaments.
B tier can be one day, I think.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, look at me.
You're
Podcast host, and I don't
welcome.
know my own sport.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Kim. That's why we brought you on. But
What's a good B tier? B tier. Hold on. I gotta think.
even I was gonna say the Valdosta Open down here,
Yeah.
but that's
Orlando
that's
Open.
still a pretty higher. Orlando Open is a high level B tier as well. I guess Valdosta would be more of like a normal B tier. That's not a huge field. I
Is
consider
Throwdown
Orlando
and Weekend a B tier? No.
No, they're all. This year was the first year that all 4 weekends were A tiers.
Oh,
But
see?
it's some of those like, I guess this take doesn't prevent anybody from playing. It's just preventing people from playing in MA1.
Yeah, it's from
Or-
playing up. Like, we want everyone to play. Let's just make sure that is well known. We want everyone to play. I want everyone to play disc golf. It's so much fun. Except when I want to go out on that course, I don't want anyone to play that course. But it's just because a lot of the time when they set up cards, what's usually what happens? The top and then the bottom, and then a couple guys in between, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're let's use 990, and the bottom guy is like 840, that's going to be a very good mental test of fortitude that you're not focusing on 840. And I don't mean to be rude about anybody who is 840 rated, but you play the game differently than somebody who's 990 rated. You play the game, and you haven't learned some things maybe that a 990 player can do. Mm-hmm. So it just
and it's not to say like I've learned a lot from Aaron Doyle here in Jacksonville, and that I've learned from playing with him, but I don't do it during tournaments. I do it during a casual round. I played with him during league once. I was like, got his number after like, hey, dude,
Yeah.
really love to learn from you. I'd really like to understand how to play the game well. But I am not doing that in a tournament. And I think that's kind of where the line is. I don't know.
And I agree. It's a heater, and I agree. I think it's a great idea. First, he said peanut butter and jelly Uncrustables, and now he's talking about rating floors. I like it, and that's just per division. Let's make sure we say that. Like, it's not like to sign up. Like,
yeah,
you can't do it.
You have to be good to play disc golf in a tournament. No, like there are divisions for people who are still learning.
And C tiers go wild.
Yeah, C tiers go wild.
But I do feel like if once you get more serious about the game, because I do feel like as B tier, A tier, you're getting more serious and more competitive, that we do need to make sure that our players are doing the same thing. Because I guarantee you, people sign up for B tiers. Let's say B tiers. They sign up for B tiers, not knowing it's a B tier, not knowing what the heck a B tier is, and they're signing up for MA1 because MA1, like, we got to make sure that they feel comfortable as well. Those people who might not be as knowledgeable as signing up for a tournament. So if they try to sign up for MA1 and they get an alert on disc golf scene that goes, actually, sorry, like, no, you can't. Floor rating, whatever. Okay, well then that means I need to go to MA2.
Boom. Yeah, and disc golf scene would need, especially with how fast tournaments fill up, like people need to be aware of the ratings, and disc golf scene B probably needs to have a mechanism that prevents that, just so people aren't like trying to sign up for MA1, they miss it, and then they get bumped back to MA2 and they are on the wait list. But yeah, like example of, I'm playing the Santa Cruz Masters Cup here in a few weeks. I was on the fence about playing MPO weekend, and I went and looked at the field, and I would have been like the third lowest rated person. And I said, I don't want to be a distraction, because especially with some of the names out there, I don't want to be a distraction for guys like Gannon Burr and Alden Harris. I also want to go have fun. I'm playing the same course either weekend. It's De La Viega, but it's out of respect for my own fun and respect for everybody else around me, if that makes sense. And you can at me if you think that I'm completely wrong and being an ass about this, but that is, I've experienced it on both ends of.
Yeah, I agree. Hoffy boy, great job. 3 for 3. I'm a huge fan. Huge.
Yeah, he's doing a great job with these heaters. And if you want great disc dies, go over to Spikeheiser Discs and check out what Brandon is making out of Macon, Georgia. If you want a custom die or some of his own creations, you can go check that out at shdies_DG on Instagram. And also keep an eye out for our giveaway coming out. I'm going to say next month, but I know most people are going to be listening to this on April 1st or later. So this month, it's going to be dyed by Brandon. So happy that he's supporting us. Always excellent dies. Brandon, I'm going to hit you up here in a little bit because I have an interesting idea for a die. So, but anybody can do that. Anybody can reach out to him and get a custom die.
Does he ship? Do we know if he ships?
He does ship.
Ooh, that's awesome.
So going back to Throwdown, Kim, can you talk about how you're preparing, packing, all that good stuff, getting ready for this tournament?
Yeah, so physically making sure, I mean, of course, make sure all the clothes are washed and everything, but also hats, make sure the hats are washed. A couple of my new hats, because I have a hat sponsor now. Making sure that they're just ready to go and they have the Discraft logos on them and they have the Ponyback logo on them. Let's see, what else for physically? Backpack, field bag, because our field bag is like our spare bag. We also making sure all my towels are good. This will be my first big tournament Discraft sponsored. So I had to get rid of all my other sponsored towels. I didn't even think about that. So I've got a couple blank ones, and I've also got like a couple Discraft and DGA towels I'm using. Let's see. Just small things like that. Backup mini. I always like to have, I rarely use a mini, but I always have a backup in case anybody else needs one.
Oh yeah. So my mini has my personal logo on it, and I've had a couple of people borrow it, and I'm like, it's gonna be
Get
really
that.
funny if you beat me with my mini with my
Every time you
logo on
look
it.
down, every time you look down, you're gonna see me. Um,
It's me.
umbrella, that's important. I am a huge proponent of I'm bringing a pair of shoes for every round.
Pair of shoes for every round. I really like as a concept. Like if you can do that, definitely do it because it's a huge advantage. And now we're getting into the core of this podcast topic of I've got it written down in our show notes as balling on a budget.
Balling on a budget.
Probably should be discing on a budget,
I like balling on a budget. That sounds cooler.
but we
Yeah.
wanted to talk about kind of what we do to go to these cool tournaments but still save money and all that sort of stuff. But first off, got to pack stuff and
Yeah.
kind of going into that a little bit.
Well, so I know a pair of shoes for every round might sound bougie, but here at the Mediocre Disc Golf Podcast, no one's playing more than 3 rounds in a weekend.
Yep.
Unless you're going to Am Worlds, which is super cool, super awesome. Love that for you. But that's one tournament a year. I feel like. So that's 3 pairs of shoes. And if you're playing disc golf very competitively, you should have at least 2 pairs of shoes.
I have
feel
2.
like that.
Yeah, I'll occasionally get into 3 when like there's a good deal on shoes and the older one is kind of starting to cycle out. But I definitely cycle through my shoes. I wear different pairs throughout the week. And I mean, we talked about it last episode. The Nature Coast Luau. We played in a freaking hurricane.
Oh yeah, I called the tournament director on the course and said, "How close does the lightning need to be for us not to be safe? Because it's within 3 miles." Because as a softball director, I'm in charge of my own softball tournaments where I have thousands of children on the fields, and I have to have good apps to make sure I know where the lightning is. I was pissed. He goes, "Oh, it's 3 miles, okay." And that's when everybody heard the siren. I was like, I was so mad. I also had just slipped on the tee pad because it was pouring, which is, I should have been better, but like
that wasn't pouring. I was literally
pissed.
holding my this is not an exaggeration. I was holding my umbrella sideways because that was the way to stay dry. It was the most insane weather I've ever played.
Memories.
But to your point, having an extra pair of shoes that day was phenomenal because the next morning those same shoes were still absolutely soaked. So
yeah, even if you have waterproofs, they don't dry fast if they get wet.
Yeah, waterproof is good at keeping water out, but it's also really good at keeping water in. So if you misjudge that puddle depth that you're going to go confidently step in, congratulations, you have a wet shoe and it'll stay wet for a long time. But yeah, bring multiple pairs of shoes if you can. And when I'm packing, I don't know if you do this, Kim, but like I keep a list of things, and I also as far as I put things in an order by the door, just so in case I forget something, I prioritize by like what is going to be hardest for me to come by in that area.
Well, why not just pack it in the car the night before?
Because sometimes you guys pick me up. So
true.
Sometimes you carpool to save money, and if you're not the one driving, you get especially because if you're carpooling, if you're a nice person, you're trying not to hold up the rest of the group. So you're trying to grab your stuff and throw it in the car as quickly as possible. So I always organize my stuff in that pile in order of priority. But
you want to know what my anxiety does when I pack my socks?
Sure.
So I pack a pair of shoes for every round. I go 2 pairs of socks for every round.
Okay, I'm gonna fight you on this because I assume you mean that you put a pair in your bag for the round.
Yeah.
So I used to do that. And when the few times I've had to actually switch the socks, my shoes were already wet. Like there's a reason I'm switching out the socks mid-round. The shoes were wet, and so I just ended up with one half wet pair of socks and one just completely soaked, and like the difference was weird for me, so I just kind of stick it out. But I
stick it out.
Personally, for me, because the shoes are already wet and maybe that's just like the level that I put up with as far as wet socks. If it's wet enough for me to consider changing my socks, my shoes are already soaked. So putting on another pair of socks is only going to be nice for like 5-6 steps, and then those socks are going to be soaked again.
I see your point, but I have like this fear of athlete's foot. That's the anxiety coming. So like the more socks I have that I can change out of and change into makes me feel better. That should be my winning speech. If I win Throwdown this weekend, I'd be like, thank you. I brought extra socks and I felt great all weekend.
I was not afraid of getting
I
athlete's
was
foot at
not
any
afraid.
point. I actually play with 5 discs. The rest of my grip bag is all socks.
Well, also, if you're balling on a budget, I feel like the number one thing next to like carpooling, Airbnb with friends. Honestly, Chain Hawk Open. It was me, Josh, you, Morgan, Cole Bordis, Matt Melendez,
Matt Hoffman.
Matt Hoffman. Is that it?
I think that's it.
That's so 8 people in one house. We had a freaking blast.
It's a lot of fun, and I think we all
We had a
spent
great
like
time.
$100 for a 3-night stay at a pretty great place.
Yeah, it was 3 nights. Oh, the place was amazing. I think Matt Melendez took the couch, which he was fine with.
Yeah, Hoffy did.
But that was so fun.
Yeah.
Hoffy brought his, what did we play? Smashbox?
Jackbox, yeah.
Jackbox. We played Jackbox. That was great. The guys had the Nintendos out. I
it's
knew
a
going
great
back to the
time.
Airbnb, I was going to be relaxed. I never was like, going to be
Whereas
overthinking this.
when Josh and I went down a day earlier than planned for Throwdown, we stayed at a Quality Inn, and that alone for that one night was like $130. So you can stay at a nice Airbnb for $100 for an entire weekend, or spend $130 on a Quality Inn, which I like to joke, they don't tell you what kind of quality. They just say that there will be a quality.
Some type of quality.
Some type of quality. But you know that you're not going to run into that at most Airbnbs. And I mean, kind of what you're getting at as well with staying at an Airbnb or VRBO, whatever, your app of choice. With staying with a lot of people, not only does it save you money, but it also gives you some entertainment. You don't just go back to a hotel room and sit by yourself and go think about your round, whether it was good or bad, and
exactly
all that. Like we didn't talk a ton about the rounds when we got back. Like we just kind of chilled out by a campfire and all that.
And
sort
that's
of
what
stuff.
you need. That's what you need. 110%. You need to be able to not think about your round, because if you think about it, you're not going to do any better and you can't fix it. So, oh gosh.
Yeah. And I mean, also maximizing your tournament is turning the tournament into a vacation in of itself when you're traveling, because you're going to be playing disc golf for 4 hours.
Probably at Throwdown. Probably.
Yeah. And Throwdown's a long one. So 4 hours, and then you have the rest of the day to, like, do you want to be sitting there by yourself? If that's your thing, like, cool. But most people are going to want to hang out, make it a vacation, hang out with some really good friends. Always recommend those sharing living quarters while traveling.
Yeah, like honestly, I get excited when I think about like Chain Hawk Open. If you guys wanted to come down and play South Florida Open next December, like that's a great tournament. That's great. I mean, I grew up in South Florida, like that's where I'm from. So I think it's a decently good area.
Yeah.
But that's one of the best parts. And honestly, it might be saving you money, but like it's saving you a mental stress as well. So I got a question for you though. What's something you pack that you legit never freaking use? What do you pack? Like, what do you pack? And you're always making sure you pack it, but you never use it. I got 2 things.
I cram like 7 towels into my bag. Like I have an entire side pocket of my bag that is dedicated to towels and my resistance band, and that's it. And the resistance band is for warm up only. So that entire pocket is backup of backup towels and something I use for 15 minutes. So that I have an entire section on my bag that is pretty much a waste of space. could be easily left in the car. But you never know. I could
You never know.
drop everything into a pond and
And
still
you
keep
just
playing.
need all 7 of them. That's a
Right.
great point. That's a great point. All
What
right,
about
you ready
you?
for mine?
Yeah.
Right. First one, I always pack like a granola bar or something, knowing I'm never going to eat it. I know when I do it, I'm like, I'm not going to eat this, but I might want it. And I put it in the bag and I never eat it. And it's there for weeks after the tournament.
I've
So
found
bad.
snacks in my bag and gone like, where? How long has this been in here? I don't even
Yeah.
want to think about it. But now you can use Uncrustables and use
Yes.
Hoffy heater.
So
You're
right.
not gonna not if you have an Uncrustable in your bag, you're not gonna just let it sit there.
No. But the other thing, hot hands. Okay. If anybody knows me, born and raised Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I hate the cold so much. I get cold. We're pretty confident I'm also anemic. I hate being cold. So I've got like 4 pairs of hot hands in my bag right now. And I have it just in case. I know I probably won't use it because we are getting into April. Probably won't use it. I also have, where is it? I know the crowd at home can't see it, but I legit have a whole bag of hot hands from work. Because when we were in Vegas the weekend before the Las Vegas challenge, we bought hot hands like crazy because it was like 30 degrees and windy. So, and I got to take all of them home. So I'll be using them when I'm freezing cold. But yes, I always pack hot hands.
There's a section on the shelf in my garage that has a bunch of hot hands because like I go to a tournament and go, oh, it's gonna be cold, and I buy hot hands and I use one because hot hands are generally also pretty good, so they stay hot for so long that you buy like the huge pack because it's gonna be cold. You need to be really prepared, and then you end up using one for the entire day.
Oh, I found it. It's a whole drawer. I have a whole drawer. I've got like a bunch of drawers over here for work. Yep. So if anybody gets really cold at the course this weekend, you can always come up to me and I'll have some hot hands for you.
Also, a way to save money is not eating out.
That's so tough. So tough. I love to eat out.
Yeah, I like that as well, but at the same time, you can get 2 meals at a restaurant, or you can use that probably about the same amount to get most of your food for the entire weekend.
But what if you're in a hotel and not an Airbnb that you can't cook?
I don't know. I'm assuming that you followed previous instructions and got an Airbnb or VRBO or VRBO.
Hey, Evan, people are looking to us for guidance on how to ball on a budget. So how, like a hotel room, how do you do it? I have an idea. You want to hear my idea?
Sure, go for it.
So every summer for the past 7 years before I was hired on, I used to coach at the All-American Games, which is in Vieira, and you stay a week-long tournament. You coach a team, the team's built with kids, whatever. Not the point. And we stayed in hotel rooms, and they barely ever had stuff. But the trick is to ask for a hotel room with a microwave. And you don't necessarily have to get microwave things, but you can get things that you can heat up in the microwave. So like you can buy chicken that's already cooked. That's in like the back aisle by like, the bacon sausage. You know what aisle I'm talking about in Publix?
Yep.
You can get that kind of chicken. Of course, you can do sandwiches. That's super easy. You can get some Uncrustables. That's easy.
Uncrustables, yep.
You can do the little Jimmy Dean egg cups.
Oh, yeah, those are really good.
Because that's a microwave thing. Those sometimes smell, though, just a heads up. And even if you don't have a microwave in the room, most hotels have breakfast downstairs, and you can use their microwave because they always have one ready. So that's what we used to do when we do that, because we got paid a good amount of money for the week, but you don't want to blast that all on food because then you just showed up for no reason. So you try your best to make everything work. And then, of course, simple things like fruits. Simple. And of course, maybe one night you plan to go out. Because you are going, you're leaving town, you got an Airbnb or you got a hotel. You should go out to dinner, see what the locals are vibing with.
Yeah. One of my favorite things to do is, because I don't want to carry around a whole loaf of bread, because I really like sandwiches and that sort of thing, especially because you can pack them, take them to the course as well if you really need to. If you have one of those awkward, like 10 o'clock tea times or 11 o'clock tea times where it's like too early to eat, but
you're
going to finish, you're going to be starving.
I know what you mean.
getting bagels, because they come in sleeves of about 6. So for a 3-day weekend, you have a bagel for breakfast, then you make a sandwich out of your bagel for lunch, and then you just have to figure out dinner. And
I think
generally
about
the
that.
same cost as a loaf of bread. But you're also getting a little bit more bang for your buck calorie wise as well.
Yeah, and you
Because
needed
that,
carbs. You need
Mhm.
carbs when you're playing that much. You do. I
Yeah,
do know that.
exactly. So I always get like a really tiny jar of peanut butter and some of the like the deli meats. Yeah, I found, so that's one of my favorite things to do is find the most adorable jar of peanut butter I can find.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh my goodness.
And then yeah, so I've got a couple people that I've stayed with that are now on my side with the bagel thing, because they're like, just get a whole thing of bread. And like, then I have to figure out, like, I have to carry a whole thing of bread around for the rest of the weekend,
Sure.
and
Okay.
also don't want to get smashed, because then like no one likes smashed bread.
No one likes smashed bread.
That
Nope.
should be on a shirt.
No one likes smashed bread. You know what you could also do? Just thought of it. Boom, popped in my head. Hawaiian rolls.
Ooh, Hawaiian rolls are really, really
You
good.
could just eat the Hawaiian roll for breakfast, and then you can make a sandwich for lunch. That's a great idea. It just came to me.
And they're
to
also
do it.
delicious.
And they're delicious. Yep.
But I think this is starting to tread into waters of the Hoffy heater. So from last week. So just everybody eat Uncrustables, breakfast, lunch, dinner. This show brought to you by Uncrustables. Just kidding. It's not, but that'd be kind of cool.
That'd be cool. Use my code. No.
The new running joke, Uncrustables. Figure out how to shoehorn that into every episode.
You got it. I'll do it. I got it.
Well, Kim, don't have anything else. Good luck at Throwdown this
I
weekend.
think that's it. Yeah, I'm really excited today. My buddy, he's shipping off real soon. He's in the Navy and he's been on leave for a little bit. So we went out today and we played Reed Canal Park and we had a good time. Like the first 9 holes, I really wanted to focus on like feeling great, and I did. Those back 9, I pulled out disc roulette. And I said, "You ready for this?" He goes, "What's that?" I was like, "It's this." And he's like, "Oh, okay. Is it a disc?" I was like, "No, no, no, it's a game. It's a game." So of course, the first thing that popped up was run the first hole as fast as you can.
Oh, that's a good one.
That one was fun. And we're both competitive, so it was really funny. It's just nice. I miss him a lot, so it's nice when he gets back into town. And we both didn't know that we played disc golf, so now we know that. So we've been playing like 3 days in a row, and it's nice to remember to have fun.
Yeah.
And I think I putted my best. I've been struggling with some putting recently, and I definitely was putting my best when we were just messing around and just remembering that it's a game.
Almost
and
like
that,
if you have fun, you generally play better.
Who knew? I don't know. I'm excited for this weekend. So send some good vibes my way, my listeners. Check us out. Throw Down the Mountain weekend 4. I think Paul is playing this weekend. He's going to
Yep.
be on feature card with Johnny McCrae. That's going to be awesome.
Yep.
So if you're in the area, come check us out. They are selling some spectator passes, and maybe if you just don't want to see Paul McBeth, you can come hang out with me. I'd love that. We'd have so much fun. But I'm pumped for this weekend. So, Evan, you got anything for us?
No, I think that just about wraps it up for today. You can find Kim on Instagram at Kim the Great and me at Evan Amstutz DG. Remember to follow the pod on Instagram at Mediocre Disc Golf Pod and on Twitter at Mediocre DG Pod. If you'd like to support us, buy our shirts on mythicdiscgolf.com and listen to us every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. If you enjoyed the show, leave us 5 stars in a review, and if you didn't, still give us 5 stars and tell us why. We know we aren't perfect because we are mediocre. Have a good night.